Just rebels. Yeah. We ain't asking to be let in. We kicking the door in. All praise to the Most High. Just rebels, labor radicals, full of them on them, call them out on they crowd, reveal the cap, they gon' be mad at you. The person you get married to gon' rob you of your peace, cause you didn't take the time to see. If y'all was spiritually compatible, you wouldn't be comparing you. If they truly valued you, cognitive dissonance, won't believe it, you had to prove, pray, protect, provide, and guide the family, what a dad do. Love and comfort, help her king comfort, what a mama do. How much you super blessed, I woke up feeling wonderful. Laughing at these devils, man, I promise you they comical. And later news, the Mississippi River drying up. But Luke 5 and 7, that applies to us. I'm out the trap trying to save the captives. The people rather stay in shackles. Whole time, me and mine down the street of mouse. Lions eat when the beef's awful. Ain't for the weak or the sweet talkers. Come like the thief on the sleepwalkers. Koran the Hebrew would defrost them. The bread for the children. Lawyer dogs get the leash off them. The parasites try to leech off them. Call your voice, get your speech out to them. Baritone, go and research it. I come from the bottom. The subway, I had to research it. The youngest fashion crash shop when they don't see purpose. Clear eyes, clean vision, sight, beat urgent. Early not help, I had to detox it. In demand, I had to restock it. Rock with soldiers, same message, had to rebox it. Communication encrypted for all the eavesdropping. Them sneaking links got your piss and blood. Toxic tune promoting addictive drugs. They trying to turn our sons to ladybugs. And our daughters into shameless whores, battle scores. Do the right thing, cause the cost of sin is sting. Bruised man with machine. Daniel told us turning and clay to me. That resonates as transhumanism. Talking cyborgs. All facts, nothing fabricated. In perfect health, then take the vaccination. The Most High, it gives all the praises. Shabbat Shalom, family. Peace and blessings to the chosen. Let they play again. Shalom, everybody tuning in, everybody real tuning in. Let me let in, kicking the door in. All praise to the Most High. Righteous rebels, labor radicals, full of them on them, call them out on they crowd, reveal the cap, they gon' be mad at you. The person you get married to gon' rob for your peace, cause you didn't take the time to see. If y'all was spiritually compatible, you wouldn't be comparing you. If they truly valued you, cognitive dissonance, won't believe it, you had to prove, pray, protect, provide, and guide the family, what a dad do. Love and comfort, help her king comfort, what a mama do. How much you super blessed, I woke up feeling wonderful. Laughing at these devils, man, I promise you they comical. And later news, the Mississippi River drying up. Luke 5 and 7, that applies to us. I'm out the trap trying to save the captives. The people rather stay in shackles. Whole time, me and mine down the street of mountains. Lions eat when the beef's awful. Ain't for the weak or the sweet talkers. Come like a thief on the sleepwalkers. Koran the Hebrew would defrost them. The bread for the children. Longer dogs get the leash off them. The parasites try to leech off them. Clone your voice, get your speech out to them. Baritone, go and research it. I come from the bottom. Subway, I had to research it. The youngest fashion crash shop when they don't see purpose. Clear eyes, clean vision, sight, beat urgent. Heard myself, I had to detox it. In demand, I had to restock it. Rock with soldiers, same message, had to rebox it. Communication encrypted for all the eavesdropping. And sneaking links got your piss and blood. Toxic tune promoting addictive drugs. They trying to turn our sons to ladybugs. And our daughters into shameless whores, battle scores. Do the right thing, put the cost of sin a sting. Bruised man with machine. Daniel told us earning and clay to me. That resonates as transhumanism. Talking cyborgs. All facts, nothing fabricated. In perfect health, then take the vaccination. The Most High, it gives all the praises.
All right, all right. Peace and blessings to the chosen, everybody who tuning in, everybody who will tune in, those who are seeing and viewing the stream from YouTube, those who seeing it from Facebook. Before we proceed, I just want to say that those who are viewing from Facebook, I don't know why, but I do not and I cannot see y'all's comments anytime that y'all comment. But everybody who is in here, and who will come in, smash the like button. Salute to y'all. I pray that y'all's week have been blessed. I pray that y'all been encouraged with everything that's going on. Not to not be swayed, to not be confused and to recognize that it's a lot of different spirits and influences that's operating. And as they operate, they transfer. Spirits transfer. One of those spirits that is operating is condemnation. And I'm gonna speak briefly on the subject matter of what's going on with Kyrie Irving or Ye. And anybody else who's been in the celebrity light and made mention of anything about us being the true people, the true Hebrews, the real Jews, and just proclaiming and staking claim to our true heritage. I've seen so many people condemn, the brothers and saying that, they apologize or what have you. I didn't see the apology as something that, that they felt some kind of way pressured or was a weak move. Beyond it, the important thing is this: they said what they said. You know what I mean? The seed was dropped. You know what I mean? And the media, they can't go clean and swipe the media to clear that off the shelves and off the record. It's already been heard. You know what I mean? It didn't touch millions of people. You know what I'm saying? So whether they apologize or not, brothers and sisters, the work was done. The message went out. And if we saying that we Israelites and we true Jews and we seeking the salvation of people, we want our family members and loved ones to wake up. It should be nothing said after that. Whether these brothers are astute and trained within the scriptures, we don't know where they are. You know what I mean? Anybody who has a level of understanding, highly educated, and studied within the scriptures, it took you time to get to that point. We don't know where these brothers, regimen of study is. Have mercy on them. So I see a merciless spirit operating. Don't allow that to jump on you. Peace and bliss to everybody who tuned in again. Sister Shemaya, bringing battle. Sister Alicia, you and Cole Rain, Sister Nessa, Yadarock, y'all son, Quay, and everybody who haven't commented. Smash the like button, subscribe, share. This message was the target and the goal, brothers and sisters, with the spirit of Jezebel. Understand is I do want to, it's gonna be some type of flack. Some people may be offended, others may be delivered, others educated and edified on how to recognize this spirit. The goal is not to bash the sisters, but neither is it to empower a brother who may want to exercise over authoritative position over his wife or his rib. The goal is simply to edify the people to understand that this spirit is working. Our houses, brothers and sisters, our homes, our families have been divided on several fronts for different reasons, and this is one of those reasons. This is one of the reasons. All right. Our men have not been trained and educated nor brought up on how to be a man, how to be a husband, how to be a father. Our sisters have not been trained on how to love a husband. Our mothers haven't been trained on these things. We haven't been educated on how to articulate and work with one another to even build a prosperous and a successful family unit. All right, but we have been trained on. We have been, manipulated into having a mindset to be against one another. The roles being switched, and saying, well, you know what, the brother, he needs to stay back. You know what I mean? And instead, put the woman in the front. And there's scripture. There's a tactic used by the adversary, used by the enemy to come in through the woman. You know what I mean? Because a woman is powerful. Use that woman to attack the head being the man. All right. The adversary knew that he couldn't come straight to Adam. You know what I mean? In order to get him to fall, he had to go through a weaker vessel. He had to go through who could make this man, neutralize this man to put his guards down. The one closest to him, his wife, his woman. And ever since then, it's been a war in the household, brothers and sisters. And specifically, or more so, geared towards Israelites and Hebrews. All right. So, but we want to shake back from this spirit. We want to overcome this thing. You know what I mean? We want to be able to say, we didn't get in order because the whole earth is out of order, it's out of course. This is a problem. All right. So to start it off or to get into it, let's go to Genesis. Genesis. We're gonna start in Genesis, family. Genesis chapter 3. We're going to the beginning. Where did this mindset come from? Because it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that, family. Yehoiakim. Shalom, shalom. Much love to you as well, Hebrew Code, Ryan. Timothy Hawthorne, Carrie Battle, Shaft the Berean. May the water, all praise to the Most High. May that same blessing be returned to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. All right. But we're going to Genesis 3, saints. Genesis chapter 3. Let's see where I start. I start with well, just to give you a portion of the backstory. What's going on here? You got Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and the serpent has come to beguile Adam through Eve. All right. Likewise, Wesley Green is a blessing to be seen and is a blessing to see. All right, but Genesis 3, I'm gonna start with verse 9. All right, so at this point, they've already, transgressed the commandment of the Most High to not take of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. All right, and realizing, that they're naked in the garden and so on and so forth. Genesis 3, verse 9 says, "And the Most High power called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Verse 13, and the Most High power said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. So now we're seeing how it trickled down. Okay, I'm coming to the man first. You know what I mean? The Most High dealing with that man. And this is a part of this particular subject. This thing is supposed to go from, as I said prior to, the house is out of order. All right. And the way that the Jezebel spirit is able to function so much is because a lot of the men haven't held themselves in the position of accountability. All right. We supposed to answer to the Most High. We made in the image of the Most High. All right. So in that case, we seeing that the father addresses Adam. What went on? And Adam pointed to the woman. The woman pointed to the serpent. All right, continuing on verse 14 says, And the Most High power said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. All right, so now he's rolling out the curses and the punishments for the disobedience. 16, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. All right, so this thing that been instituted from the beginning by the mouth of the Most High. And for those sisters who may not know, this is a portion and why, in childbearing is so much pain. Why, it's a risk that a woman would lose her life in pushing that child out of the matrix. This is why, for the beginning, it wasn't intended. But about the woman yielding to the serpent, all right, this is a portion of the curses and also ties into why women go through a monthly cycle. You know what I mean? Going through that pain. All right, those things were not intended for a woman to have to feel nor endure. But continuing on, verse 17 says, "And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field." Continuing on, verse 19 says, "In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return." So the punishment for the man was that now this is why the man is gone all the time. He got to work. This is the old curse. Some of the oldest curses placed on mankind for disobedience to the Creator. But verse 16 says that within the punishment for the women, he said that the man would rule over that woman. All right. And this is how the Most High put this thing into play. Mashka, Shabbat Shalom. I pray all is great with you as well. All right, but let's go to Proverbs 4. Let's go to Proverbs 4. All right, and along with this, brothers and sisters, as we operate to have decalcified pineal glands, meaning that we woke to a point where we can see and understand the different threads in society, to overcome us, corrupt us, pollute us, and keep us at odds with the Most High. We got to understand that the feminist movement was something that was used to empower the sisters, to make them feel like they less than, and say, well, you know what, we want us a portion. You already got a portion. It's only through the means of a woman. Yes, the seed comes from the man. All right, but when a woman bears a child, that's the first teacher in many cases. This is who the majority of the time is who gonna do the nurturing. So the adversary understand that if I go through this woman and I can get her mind and get her to be in a position that's out of order for her natural use, then when she trains the children, guess what? I got the children. And I done said it before. If you can get the children, you control the future. You control the future through the children. All right, let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs 4:1. So as I said, or as the Most High said, that man was supposed to work. You're gonna work rigorously. It's not gonna be something fun and enjoyable. Whereas the earth itself, in times prior, in those times, it helped us. It worked with us, but now it doesn't work for us. All right. Proverbs 4:1 is where we start, and it says, "Hear, ye children, the instruction of a father, and attend to no understanding. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law. For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also and said unto me, Let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments and live." So even within this, we've seen the perspective and the mindset of men who had a masculinity so much that this son of his, he said, I was only tender in my mother's sight. All right, but as we draw a line, something that I do want to make mention of, make note of for brothers and sisters who's listening. Let us not take it to a point where we think that a man should be he doesn't have the right nor the space nor the capacity to be able to cry or to be able to express himself. We are human beings. I even had to be checked within my own self once before talking about emotional. All right. So when we're talking about a person being emotional, many times that label is placed on a man if he sheds a tear or if he acts in a way that's not considered or categorized as masculine. But this is the thing. Emotional, the root word of that is emotion. All right. Joy is the emotion. Happiness is the emotion. Sorrow, sadness is the emotion. All right. So if we're going to say that a man cannot be emotional, make sure that we're able to say that when somebody is joyful. When you see that person that's happy, hey, stop being emotional, man. Stop being so happy. That's an emotion. It's an emotion that we have. So within it, if I'm angry, it's not that I'm being emotional just in the times where I'm angry. Again, if y'all understand what I'm saying. Many times when a man gets aggressive, stop being emotional. Let that apply across the board. All right. But continuing on, verse 5 says, get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy wisdom get understanding. All right, and we want understanding on what's going on. Why are the houses divided as such? Again, why is this Jezebel spirit able to operate? We're gonna get it. We're gonna get into Jezebel too, because even with that, when we hear Jezebel, many have been taught that, if a woman has a Jezebel spirit, that's a whorish spirit. All right, and it has truth to it. We're gonna get it out the book. All right, but more so, the leading characteristic of a Jezebel woman is one who usurps the authority, who tries and intends and moves in a position that a man should move in. All right, so we're gonna get that story with Jezebel and Ahab. All right, we're going to Proverbs though. Proverbs 21 and 9. All right, so we're using the lunch pad what we just read from Genesis. That man working. In many cases, when the Jezebel spirit is operating in a household or in a community, that comes with violence. All right. Proverbs 21 and 9. It says, it is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. All right. So in other cases, this Jezebel spirit may drive a woman and have her wanting to fight a man, to put hands on a man. All right. And that goes further or begins in many cases with verbal abuse. It is a such thing of domestic violence where women are those who are the initiative or initiators. Understand it, society and put it out there. Okay, anytime we hear domestic violence, we think that it's the man beating on the woman. In a whole lot of cases, it's the woman that's inflicting this violence. She's stabbing him. She belittling him, cursing him out, defaming him in front of the children, in front of the friends, and the neighbors, and whoever else. All right, so that is a problem. That's not any sister who's viewing this and who will view it. Understand this. If you operate in this spirit, that's not of the Most High. All right. So, which leads to what we're bringing out from this particular verse. That man working, he may not want, because of that, of what's going on at home, he would rather go to work. He would rather be around strangers than to be around a woman that's a brawler, that wants to fight, that wants to keep up some type of hell and commotion in the household. He cannot get peace there. And it's a shameful thing. If a man has to leave his house and wander out his place where his woman is supposed to be his pillow of rest, he'd rather go in a place with strangers and other spirits because of the woman making him feel that way. That's not of the Most High, saints. We got to get that rectified. All right. Let's go to 1 Corinthians, though. 1 Corinthians 11. 1 Corinthians 11. That's where we're going. All praise to the Most High. Tony J said the song is fire. All praises to the Most High. This song is Aaron and Clay. If y'all not aware, if you don't know, if you want to get check it out at any time, it's on Spotify as well as Apple Music. All right. But 1 Corinthians 11. I'm gonna hit verse 1 for more understanding on it. It says, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ, or Hamashiach. All right, so we want to have our houses and homes geared toward the order that the Most High said. All right, verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is the Most High. All right, so you got the man, and over the man is Christ, and over Christ is the Father. All right, this is the order of the household. What's going on is these things are out of place. That, again, like I said prior to it earlier, the woman is able to move in a Jezebel spirit in many cases because that man has not took accountability to say, I'm going to walk in the vein of the Messiah. I'm going to be the Christ of my house. Understanding that, sisters, if y'all don't know, that man in the house, he's supposed to be the figure, or as Christ in the household ruling over it. This is why we get the scripture that tells us to say that the husband should love the woman as Christ loved the church. All right, respect him even as Christ was respected by the church. But continuing on, it says, every man praying or prophesying having his head covered dishonor his head. But every woman that prayeth or prophesy with her head uncovered dishonor her head, for that is even all one as if she was shaved. All right, so to dishonor the person who the Most High done set in order, as he has a perfect order, that goes into disrespect. If the woman is disrespecting that man, understand that that's even accounted as if you don't respect Christ. All right, but to give it balance, though, brothers and sisters, we don't understand it. Some of these cases where these women are working and moving in a Jezebel is because that man has not accepted Christ. So you getting out the situation, what you putting into the situation. If you out of order, your woman gonna be out of order, the children gonna be out of order. All right, so we got to understand this is what I'm trying to get and convey the message to you brothers and sisters. That we got problems in our households, and it's because of these things. All right. Let me see. I want to jump down to verse 7. Well, we there anyhow. I'll read it through to verse 6. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of the Most High. But the woman is the glory of the man. So the man, this is who, when we see and we reading through scriptures, this for those who understand or who need a sharpened understanding, and it might be your first time viewing. Understand it. When we going through and it says that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the son of Adam, the son of Seth, the lineage of Shem, the son of David. He was the son of, and Judah begat Ohab, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David, and David is going and following the line of the man. Because this is who the Most High said within the scripture, said, the flock of my pasture are men. All right, so, and he said, let this Numbers 27, if I'm not mistaken, said, let the Most High set a man over the congregation. All right, so this is the order that the Father set up. So in many cases, we see it through society that hates the Most High, that hates the Bible, that hates the oracles given to us. The whole target is Israel, because he made us the salt of the earth. He made us the light of the world, right? So if that light be dimmed or that salt loses its savor, as the Messiah said, is no good, but to be cast out in the street and trodden under the foot of men. So if they can get us off course, guess what? They remain in rule, and the way they do that is the same old trick of the enemy. Go in through that woman. So now we seeing the women in the pool. I just seen the other day, they were celebrating the anniversary of the pastor, but guess what? The pastor was a woman. Not only was she a woman, she had a first lady. Do you see the sickness? Do you see the error of the order? All right, so they're promoting this thing to where now they saying, listen, we can also have a church where the transgender is the one that's the pastor. He said, we're going to recreate and re-examine and analyze what the Bible said and create our own church. When there's no order established, when the order is not being followed, then the door is open for chaos and anarchy. And they're going to maximize on it every time. All right, let's go to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation chapter 2. And then we'll go into more exact history on the actual woman Jezebel. All right, and examine the correlation of how she moved, the things that she did, and how she operated within the kingdom. All right, Revelation chapter 2. Let's see. Let's see what I want from here. I'm gonna start with let me hit verse 1 and 2 first. It says, unto the angel of the church of Ephesus, write, these things shall he that holdeth the seven stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the seven golden candlesticks. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars, and has borne and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored and has not fainted. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love. All right, so we getting an understanding about what the Messiah is saying, these different churches, the seven churches, what they were lacking, and also what was the thing that he admired about them. As we go through Revelation 2, even in your own time, saints, look at those things that were something that he saluted them about. And also examine those things that he said, yeah, I have somewhat against thee. And let us be careful of those things. Give me a second. Let's see. That woman Jezebel. That woman Jezebel. All right. So we're going to verse. I'm gonna hit 18, saints. Yeah, 18. Shaya Hawada. Shalom. Shalom. Malak. Candy Demise. Shalom. Shalom. Orlando Williams. Shalom to you as well. Revelation chapter 2, verse 18. It says, and unto the angel of the church of Thyatira write, these things saith the Son of the Most High, who have his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass. Another precept you can add to your arsenal, verse and line, showing that the Messiah is melanated, brown like myself and you. 19 says, I know thy works in charity, in service, and faith, and thy patience, and thy works, and the last to be more than the first. Verse 20, here we go. It says, notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. All right, so examining it, brothers and sisters, said the Jezebel spirit is one who this woman will declare herself and proclaim herself to be a prophetess. That's going to come into play within the mission, because a Jezebel does not have to be just, again, this whorish woman. This same woman can have spirituality about herself. All right. Verse 21 says, and I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not. Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. So again, it's not to bash any sister, any woman, you know what I mean? But it is to educate us so that as men, and even as women training other women, let us not raise our daughters to have this Jezebel spirit. You know what I mean? Because they will become mothers if the father say the same. Let us not allow or raise our nieces. You know what I mean? Let us watch out for our sisters and our mothers, our aunties, our cousins, you know what I mean? Sisters in the faith, to not be Jezebels. And if they won't accept the word of the Most High, at the least we can recognize it and know how to deal with it. All right. So let's go to Kings. Let me get First Kings. First Kings, saints. First Kings We're gonna go to okay, Ahab rules. There's a lot that went on through the rulership of uh Ahab or Ahab, however you pronounce it. Really, from First Kings chapter 17 through chapter 21. All right. Well, we're gonna start with 21 though, sons. First Kings chapter 21. We're gonna start with verse 1. All right. When y'all get it, somebody drop a con. Also, let me know if the audio is coming through clearly as well as the visual. Should have checked that earlier, but I pray it is. First Kings chapter 21. Indeed, indeed. All right. Start with verse 1. All praise to the Most High. The water quay, the water mashka. It says, and it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house. And I will give thee for a better vineyard than it, or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. So the king, this is the king Ahab, speaking to this man named Naboth, hey, let me get that garden that you got. It's close to my house. You know what I mean? I want to turn it into a garden for herbs. Uh, and in exchange for that, I'll give you an even better garden. And if you don't want to exchange, then I'll give you some money for it. Verse 3. And Naboth said unto Ahab, the Most High forbidded me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you or thee. It says, Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. The man is sick, family, because of this rejection. You know what I mean? This man saying, like, man, my pops passed this down to me. I know you the king and all, but no, I can't do this. I can't give you my inheritance. Verse 5, but Jezebel, his wife, Jezebel is the wife to Ahab. But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said unto him, why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto her, because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, give me thy vineyard for money, or else if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. And Jezebel, his wife, said unto him, dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So now we say, hold up. For one, this woman is interfering in man's business. That's an issue in many cases. That's not something in how women and sisters are supposed to move. All right. But she said, listen, man, rise up, go and eat. What's wrong with you? You the king of Israel, ain't you? Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna give you the vineyard. Now let's see what this woman did in order to carry it out. Verse 8 says, so she wrote letters in Ahab's name. So now we see one of the things and characteristics of a Jezebel is deception, is deceit. All right, it's a hiding thing in many cases. All right, so she wrote letters in the king's name. The king didn't write this. And sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in a letter saying, proclaim a fast. Again, Revelation 2 and 20 told us that the Jezebel said she proclaimed herself to be a prophetess. So a Jezebel can be spiritual, so much so she would declare a fast. Hey, y'all, let's not eat. Let us afflict our flesh so that we can get this thing, get a response from the Most High. get direction from the Most High. But if you don't know, which we'll get it out of Josephus, but this woman is not an Israelite. All right. But continuing on, it says, well, let me reread that from the top. It says, and she wrote in the letters saying, proclaim a fast and setting the bar on high among the people, and said two men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, thou didst blaspheme the Most High and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. So she didn't send letters out to these people in the area surrounding, saying, let us fast first, and then let's put Naboth in the forefront among the people. Put two sons of the devil, two sons of the adversary before to bear witness against him. So now she wants somebody to come and lie on this man, to purposely bear false witness against this man. All right. And said and the thing that he will be guilty of is that he blasphemed against Ahiah and the king. Said, then carry him out and stone him that he might kill this man for rejecting what the king said on the grounds of him wanting to retain what he inherited through his family. Verse 11, and the men of his city, so we seeing what? Not only is the Jezebel spirit, or Jezebel can be spiritual, she also can be deceptive, hiding, and guess what? Violent. She can be violent, brothers and sisters. She can have a murderous mindset. So these things equate and calculate to being wicked. Sifa, Shabbat Shalom, Gael, Shalom, Shalom, King. Indeed, true root, the water. May you be blessed too, Saint. May you be blessed, the water for that. All right, but continuing on. Verse 11 says, and the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles, who were the inhabitants in his city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them. But why? You know what I'm saying? They doing this because the letters is not saying it's from Jezebel. It's saying this is from the king. All right, so they operate in the understanding of, okay, well, this is what the king wants us to do. We got to follow what he say. All right, it says, and as it was written in the letters which she had sent unto them, they proclaimed the fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And there came in two men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme Ahiah and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones that he died. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. They carried it out. It was executed. The plan was successful. Verse 15. And it came to pass when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thee for money. For Naboth is not alive, but dead. And it came to pass when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, then Ahab rose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. All right, so this man gained this thing through bloodshed, unrighteous bloodshed, innocent blood was shed. All right, but on account of his wife, he didn't step in and say, hold on, how you gonna get the vineyard? He didn't step in and say, no, don't do that. It's not even worthwhile to take this man's life. So it's a spirit of selfishness operating in this Ahab man as well. We'll get a message on that in time to come. But we're focusing on the household, starting with the woman, because this is who the serpent went to. He went to that woman, and through means of that she told the man and deceived the man. And now we in the state that we in, brothers and sisters. So we're working our way backwards. You know what I mean? This thing is to uncover the serpent who's still operating. All right, so we got to be on guard against about these things. If you offended, then listen. If anytime we get cut, the mindset that we have, if I get cut and get the bleeding right now, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna want to get something to stop the blood. I'm gonna want to get something to cover it up. But guess what? If I know I'm cut, I know I need to be healed. Know I need to be healed somewhere. So that's what the cut is. If it hits you and it hurts you, listen, understand that lets you know you need to be healed. You need to be healed in that area, sister, brother. All right, so let's be real about this thing. Time is, listen, it's winding down. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go too much into, well, I didn't intend on doing it at least. Uh, Going into the situation with what's really going on spiritually. You know what I mean? With the proclamation being put out with Kyrie and Ye. All right, but we getting ready. That word then went out to millions. This he said this gospel got to be preached in all the earth, and then the end will come. So as these brothers put this information out, you know what I mean, whether you agree with the lifestyle that they have or not, the truth can come from a crackhead. When that crack, if a crackhead is saying, hey, and he putting the heroin in his arm, hey, don't do crack. Don't shoot that dog food. This stuff will destroy you. We listen, because of what he's doing, there's still truth coming out his mouth. All right. So with that being said, many people have went to purchase the book Hebrews to Negroes. You know what I'm saying, and made it #1 on Amazon, as well as another platform. So the seed was planted, it'll be watered, and then the Most High get the increase. That's what we want. And as we wake up and they continuously uncover the man of perdition, guess what? That's lining up their wall. They don't want to give up those positions that they have, claiming to be us. But I'm gonna listen, we'll talk about that in another time. So I'm finna go into Josephus, though, brothers and sisters. Josephus, we'll go into this book, The Complete and Unabridged. We're gonna be in the Antiquity of the Jews, chapter 13 is where we start. So we still getting information on this spirit of this Jezebel spirit. Don't forget these characteristics. She can be spiritual, a self-proclaimed prophetess, violent, deceitful. All right. Uh, so Antiquity of the Jews, excuse me, chapter 13. We get a nice portion of information from her. I'm starting with 3:16, if you have it. All right, verse with 3:16 here is reading as one. It says, now Ahab, the king of Israel, dwelt in Samaria and held the government for 22 years and made no alteration in the conduct of the kings that were his predecessors, but only in such things as were of his own invention for the worse and in his most gross wickedness. All right, this particular king, at the same time, family, Ahab, it said that he was the most wicked king of Israel, and there's no coincidence. He did worse than those who were kings before him who transgressed against the Most High. It says he imitated them in their wicked courses and in their injurious behaviors toward the Most High. And more especially, he imitated the transgression of Jeroboam. For he worshipped the heifers that he had made, and he contrived other absurd objects of worship besides those heifers. He also took to wife the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Tyrians and Zidonians, whose name was Jezebel, of whom he learned to worship her own God. So this man was swayed into idolatry by his wife, who's a daughter of Zidon or Tyre, and those families spun from Ham, Hamitic families. So if we understanding the lineage and bloodline, tracing those things, we're going back in time into after the deluge and the earth being repopulated through Noah's 3 sons and their wives. Noah's sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, all right, or Japheth. All right, so these people who we come from, we come through the line of Shem, to be Shemitic or Semitic, all right? This woman, Jezebel, the Zidonians and Tyre, they come from the lineage and bloodline of Ham. We'll get more of that some other time, but continuing on. 3:18 says, this woman was active and bold. You hear that? This woman was active and bold. But the women should be a sweet savor, a pillar of rest, meek, tender, delicate, wholesome. All right, not active and bold. All right, if you're going to be active and bold, let it be within the understanding and decently in order of the ways of the Most High. All right, it says, and fell into so great a degree of impurity and wickedness that she built a temple to the god of the Tyrians, which they called Belus, and planted a grove of all sorts of trees. She also appointed priests and false prophets to this god. The king also himself had many such about him, and so exceeded in madness and wickedness all the kings that went before him. So again, he exceeded, he was beyond wicked than those who were prior and before him. All right, so let's go to 329. Let's skip down to 329. It says, so the king called for Obadiah, who was steward over his cattle, and said to him that he would have him go to the fountains of water and to the brooks, that if any herbs could be found for them, they might mow it down and reserve it for the beasts. Because at this time, the Most High had Elijah to visit Ahab and let him know, like, listen, it ain't finna be no rain in the land. It's gonna be a terrible drought and famine. And these that until I, until the Most High through me pray, I pray and get that thing accomplished to where the rain and the water returns. So they going through a famine. This is what he tell them. So he sent his servant Obadiah out, go through the land and see if you can find some water. All right, we'll continue on. We're still in 329. It says, and when he had sent persons all over the habitable earth to discover the prophet Elijah, and they could not find him, he bade Obadiah accompany him. So it was resolved they should make a progress and divide the ways between them. And Obadiah took one road and the king another. Now it happened at the same time when Queen Jezebel slew the prophets. This Obadiah had hidden 100 prophets and had fed them with nothing but bread and water. Now, to understand what's going on, this Jezebel who set up an idol in a temple to her God, she had the true prophets killed. She had them assassinated. Why? Because the book tells us in many cases, listen, when the Most High sent a prophet, the word ain't going to be it's not going to be a feel-good word every time. Understand that, brothers and sisters, when Most High dealing with somebody, if you have a teacher or somebody you learning from, if everything they say make you feel good, that person is not doing their job. At some point in time, you should have some type of disagreement. You should get cut. You should feel it like, man, okay, I need to tighten up here. They speaking about what I'm dealing with. All right, so but if we still under this falsehood and mindset to be playing games, like we just all super righteous and all this, then listen, you're gonna ignore it and feel like you don't have nothing to correct. We need these things. We need to hear that word that's against us. That's the Most High. That's love. That's the Most High sending somebody to tell you, like, man, you need to check this out. You need to get that fixed. All right, but she had those prophets killed because these men were speaking against her in the idolatry. All right. So continuing on, Obadiah had hidden 100 prophets and had fed them with nothing but bread and water. But when Obadiah was alone and absent from the king, the prophet Elijah met him. And Obadiah asked him who he was. And when he had learned it from him, he worshiped him. Elijah then bid him go to the king and tell him that I am here ready to wait on him. But Obadiah replied, what evil have I done to thee, that thou sendest me to me? Salaki, where is it? Small. Sendest me to one who seeketh to kill thee and have sought over all the earth for thee. Or was he so ignorant as not to know that the king had left no place untouched unto which he had not sent persons to bring him back in order, if they could take him, to have him put to death? So Obadiah saying, listen, you telling me to go tell the king that I seen you, because he put out the word, hey, go find this Elijah. We need him. We need to kill him too. Jezebel had 100 of them killed, but this Elijah fella, this Tishbite, we need to kill him too, because he actually got the word of the Most High with him. He's a threat to our order, to our kingdom. So Obadiah said, if I go back to the king, you telling me you gonna be here. He didn't already kill people who were searching for you when they didn't find you. You trying to have me killed. Elijah, watch how Elijah respond though. 333 says, for he told him he was afraid lest the Most High should appear to him again, and he should go away into another place. And that when the king should send him for Elijah, and he should miss of him and not be able to find him anywhere upon earth, he should be put to death. He desired him therefore to take care of his preservation, and told him how diligently he had provided for those of his own profession, and had saved 100 prophets when Jezebel slew the rest of them, and had kept them concealed, and that they had been sustained by him. But Elijah bade him fear nothing, but go to the king, and he assured him upon oath that he would certainly show himself to Ahab that very day. All right, so he let him know, like, don't worry, I got you. I ain't gonna allow you to go forth, and let him know you saw me. Even though he's searching for me, I'm gonna be here. All right, now we're going to 347, saints. It says, when Jezebel, the wife of Ahab, understood what signs Elijah had wrought, and how he had slain her prophets. All right, let me pause. A backstory. Now we're talking about the event that happened in the time where Elijah went to the people, and they had 400 false prophets, if I'm not mistaken. And he said, well, let us see who really serving the true God. So we're going to set up each one of us going to take a heifer for a sacrifice. And we're going to see whichever one that the fire come from heaven and consume, that's going to tell us who's really serving the Most High. The power of the God and authority of the Hebrews, the God of Israel. All right, so those prophets went forth, they called on their gods and got to cutting themselves, and nothing happened. Elijah mocked them. Oh, that your God must be he must be asleep or something. You know, he must be in a long journey. He can't hear. Maybe y'all need to get a little louder. Mock him. All right, but then when he go forth to do the sacrifice, fire come from the heavens, and he had wet the doggone he had wet the sacrifice with cruises and cruises, barrels and barrels of water. Like, this thing was soaked. So how did the fire come down and consume it? All right, so but that's within the story. You'll have time to read yourself. But because of that, after that was viewed, Elijah slew the false prophets. Those prophets were prophets of Jezebel and her God. All right, when Jezebel, the wife of Ahab, understood what signs Elijah had wrought, and how he had slain her prophets, she was angry and sent messengers to him, and by them threatened to kill him, as he had destroyed her prophets. At this, Elijah was affrighted and fled to the city called Beersheba, which is situate at the utmost limits of the country belonging to the tribe of Judah, towards the land of Edom. And there he left his servant and went away into the desert. He prayed also that he might die, for that he was not better than his fathers, nor need he be very desirous to live when they were dead. And he lay and slept under a certain tree. And when somebody awakened him, and he was risen up, he found food set by him and water. So when he had eaten and recovered his strength by that his food, he came to that mountain which is called Sinai, where it is related that Moses received the laws from the Most High. And finding there a certain hollow cave, he entered into it and continued to make his abode in it. But when a certain voice came to him, but from whence he knew not, and asked him why he was come thither, and had left the city, he said that because he had slain the prophets of the foreign gods, and had persuaded the people that he alone, whom they had worshipped from the beginning, was the Most High, he was sought for by the king's wife to be punished for so doing. So we seeing it again that the Jezebel spirit, she put a hit on this man. All right. So there's something that I wanted to get out of Antiquity Jew. You can read more of it in your own time. Let's go to Sirach 33. And as a matter of fact, I want to do something. I'll show y'all something for a second before we jump to that. So get Sirocco Ecclesiasticus out the Apocrypha 33, and then I'm gonna share my screen. Indeed, Malak Cephas, he did use Rahab or Rahab to hide the spies of the Most High. So yeah, indeed, he can use anybody. Uh, but let me share the screen. You know what I mean? So because Sirach 5 and 15 tells us, be not ignorant in any matter, small or great. All right, so I want y'all to be aware of something else that's going on in the world. Let's see, share my screen. Indeed. Let me see what this one comes like. Let's see this. So what you're seeing, Saints, is the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River. And that's just one video. I'm gonna get you some pictures though. Let me show y'all what's going on. And then we'll get some understand why is that important. Why is he showing us this? Why does that even matter? Believe you me, it matters. Here we go. Now all these pictures is showing how the waters of the Mississippi River have been lowered. Look at these people over here. Now imagine of their water being way higher than that. Look at this man. Water was over this whole area at one point. The ships been uncovered, ships that had been underwater for decades. They finding the casino boats. They finding cars and everything else in this Mississippi River because the water is drying up, Saints. Now, I'm going to go to Baruch. Leslie Spirit, Shalom. I'm in Baruch 5. Baruch 5, I'm in his 6th verse. It says, for they departed from thee on foot and were led away of their enemies. But the Most High bringeth them unto thee exalted with glory as children of the kingdom. Verse 7. For the Most High hath appointed that every high hill and banks of long continuance. What is that? We say we was chilling and resting on the river bank. This is what he's talking about. Of long continuance. I mean, that thing stretched. The Mississippi River go through the country, brothers and sisters. He said, and banks of long continuance shall be cast down, and valleys filled up to make even the ground that Israel may go safely in the glory of the Most High. So we see in prophecy. We see in prophecy with that alone. So it's not just the Mississippi River. It's Lake Mead. It's the Euphrates. You got a few of them over in the Europe continent. These rivers are being dried up, and that comes from the Bible. It comes from the history book that belongs to us, the rich heritage that we have. So let us be mindful of those things as these prophecies come to fulfillment. We know we're drawing nigh to the time because they are clues, they are markers of the time of the second advent. Those who have an ear to hear it and receive it. All right, but let's go to Sirach. I told you I'll get Sirach 33 or Ecclesiasticus 33. Ecclesiasticus 33. All right. Verse 19. You hit it on the head. Ecclesiasticus 33 and 19. And it reads, it says, give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend, power over thee while thou livest, and give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee and thou entreat for the same again. We're going here because, again, what I'm saying, the Jezebel spirit can only coexist with somebody that tolerates it, someone or some man that accepts it. So, brothers, if you're dealing with it, understand you must, the Most High said, don't give your power, your authority over to your son or your wife, your friend or your brother. The only one who we should be answering to and giving our all to in that capacity to worship is the Most High. But in other cases, you got the men who they worshiping their woman. You know what I mean? They worshiping their brothers and all these other people. That's out of order. And when it's out of order, the defense is down. The adversary can come in. All right. Let's go to First Timothy. First Timothy. First Timothy. We're going to chapter 2. First Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. Excuse me. It says, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. All right, so that right there hit so many, is a controversial subject for so many, and it shouldn't be. All right, he said, don't let that woman not usurp authority over the man. Everybody got a role and position. All right, and once we master our roles, mastering ourselves, and doing so by heeding to the Most High, guess what? Things will work a whole lot smoother. And in a time where they're not smooth, you'll be girded enough to know how to handle those matters with wisdom, where they won't corrupt you, where they won't destroy you. You know what I mean? They won't cause you to be so weary to now you had an issue with your wife, and now it got you rejecting the Most High. It got you saying, well, I don't want nothing to do with the Father. And this for either gender. At no point in time should a person be able to affect what you as an individual do in your obedience with the Most High. You got so many people that they blame the churches and everybody else to say, well, that's why I don't believe. Well, really, you never did believe. Here's an example for those, I talk about different subjects and different matters. You will have a person to go to Walmart and purchase an item that may be damaged, right? When they get home, they see it's damaged. They don't turn around and say, well, you know what? I'm not shopping at Walmart ever again. They'll go to another. I'm not going to that Walmart. So people, they go to churches and say, well, the preacher, he was doing this and that, and he was stealing money. I don't want to believe in God. You wicked. You wicked, just straight up. I'm going to tell you like that. That's not real, man. If you're going to have that mindset, apply it across the board. But let's go to Proverbs 5. Let not that woman usurp authority over the man. Proverbs 7 tells us, said, my voice is to the sons of men. Let's see. No, Proverbs 8. So like I read it since I got it. Proverbs 8. It says, unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. But we're going here to Proverbs 5. Proverbs chapter 5. We're going to start with verse 1. It says, my son, attend unto my wisdom and bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as in honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. So these Jezebel spirit, they come in sweet. They got some sweet, they got game. They know how to get in. We're going to get some more of that. We're going to go into the Testament of Reuben. And then we'll get more out of Kings of how Jezebel responded towards the end of her, when her demise was coming upon her, about Jehu. All right, but continue on. Verse 4 says, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life, her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. All right, so we're going here, brothers and sisters, to let you know that any man who's dealing with a spirit like that, or a sister who's dealing with a spirit like that, the only way to be delivered from that is if you start to keep the commandments of the Most High. You start obeying him, because he said, through thy precepts, I get understanding. All right, so the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All right, and fearing the Lord is to obey him. Everything time back into keeping the commandments. All right, now let's go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings 9. 2 Kings 9. All praise to the Most High. 2 Kings 9. All right, and it is many other matters of this that could have been touched on. So if y'all got anything to add to it, feel free to drop it in the comments. Let the Spirit second, not the second event, the second advent, meaning the return of the Messiah. Right, the day of reckoning. All right, 2 Kings 9, 22. We just gonna get it on the head. It says, and it came to pass when Joram saw Jehu, that he said, is it peace, Jehu? And he answered, what peace? So long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcrafts are so many. So he said, man, is it peace? We cool? Is it good? How we gonna be good when your mama and all her whorish ways and her witchcraft is still established and operating through the kingdom? It's being signed off on, and she's holding and retaining a position of authority. How we gonna have peace? We can't have peace with that, brother. That's what he's telling them. 23. It says, and Joram turned his hands and fled and said to Ahaziah, there is treachery, O Ahaziah. All right, well, let's hone in on this whoredom thing. Let's hone in on the whoredom. Jump down to verse 30. All right, so this is the time where Jehu assassinates Jezebel. So, this thing had already been proclaimed not long after, Ahab yielded to her operating and killing the bar for the vineyard. 2 Kings 9 and 30 says, when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tied her head and looked out at a window. All right, so this woman, understanding that her demise is close, she painted her face. What is that? Why is that? Tactical. This is why. The spirit of how women operate tactical, to put on makeup in many cases. Why? To sway the man. To sway that man from doing what he was coming to do. Listen, you have to be removed. The Most High gave you space and time to repent, and yet you yielded not to it. So your judgment is death. This is what's going on. So tactfully, she painted her face in the hopes to sway that man. Continuing on, and as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, has Zimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. And he trode under her foot. And trode her underfoot, Salaki, or excuse me. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink and said, go, see now this cursed woman and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. All right. So they threw this woman down from the tower. She splattered on the ground. Verse 35, and they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, This is the word of the Most High, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel. So the judgment of this woman was so terrible, they couldn't recognize it. Nothing left but the skull, the feet, and the palms of her hands. All right, all of this because of how this woman was operating in wickedness. Sisters, we don't want, listen, let us not, let y'all not operate in this spirit. Brothers, let us not, see that thing and not speak up about it. And again, it's not to be rash or bashful, but these things have to be addressed because this is a real spirit that's operating and it's hindering us. It's keeping us divided as a people. In that case, it's keeping certain blessings from coming into households. Some of the struggling and the problems or the sicknesses and different and just to separate the trauma of the children. It's because of the rulership is out of whack. All right, let's go to Proverbs 31 and 30. Proverbs 31 and 30. Don't forget, it said that she painted her face. She painted her face. We're going to get more of it. We're going to Proverbs 31 though. Proverbs 31 verse 30. It says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. So we linking this in with, the mindset of with the painting of the face. Beauty is vain. You know what I mean? What is the thing that's more important than the outer appearance? The spirit within. Verse 30, the B part of verse 30 says, but a woman that feareth the Most High, she shall be praised. All right, so the inner woman, the meek in spirit, is of great value to the Most High, as it says in Peter. All right, let me get Testament of Reuben though. So I'm coming out of the Testament of the Patriarchs. The Testament of the Patriarchs. Let me try to put that on the screen. All right, but we're going to the Testament of Reuben, the first son of the man Israel, whose name prior to was Jacob. All right, so in this particular version, I'm at 5. All right, and this is what it reads. So he's giving his children, he about to die. For those who are not aware of what this is, this particular document. He's giving his children at the point of his death, calling them all together and say, listen, this is what I went through, this is what I learned and experienced through life. This is what I want y'all to take heed to and be mindful of as y'all continue on in my absence. It says, my children, ungodly women hurt you, not by strength, but by subtle enticement. They hide who they really are and make you see what they want you to see. They cannot overcome you by strength, so they overcome you by craft. An angel of the Most High told me that fornication overcomes ungodly women more than men. They devise schemes to seduce men. They deceive a man's mind through their adornment and steal poison by the glance of their eye and capture him by their actions. So why are we here? Because through that painting of the face, that man look on this, if the man is not girded, you know what I mean? When he see that woman in all that makeup, she gonna take him. He gonna be tempted. And if she's ungodly, guess what? She'll overcome that man. All right. And you will find like what it says in what's that, Idris? This woman this man be out of his wits because of this woman. All right, I'm gonna go to Enoch though. Something that we still on that pain of the face. So I'm in Enoch. This one is out of the pseudepigrapha. The book of Enoch, chapter 8. Backstory was going on. The Watchers, they made an agreement to say that they're gonna go down and deal with the daughters of the sons of men. They understand that it is disobedience to the Most High, but yet they still made their pact with one another. All right. The captain of them all, if I'm not mistaken, was some Joseph. My memory served me right. But it's going into the different things that was taught by these angels to mankind. So we in Enoch chapter 8, 1 says, and Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. All right, so Azazel taught these women the beautifying of the alleys and putting on makeup. All right, and it led to godlessness and the unbelief of the Most High, the increase of enticement and seduction in the world, right? Which led to, even if we apply to today's time, the women having this makeup, it's not that they seeking a godly man. And I'm not talking about sisters who use makeup and, here and there for, you might have alopecia or what, anything. I don't know. But I'm talking and addressing it in a case where the women using it as a tool to overcome the man for fornication, all right, for adultery, all right, and then end up with a child. And now we're dealing with child support. Now we're dealing with, again, the domestic violence and the splitting of the households. Now it's suffering and it's not peace in the house. All right. This thing wasn't intended for us to be dealing with and operate. I'm almost through here. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah 31:22. So what's going on? What's really happening? Jeremiah 31:22. Something we got to understand. Even to talk about the feminist movement and the promotion of what we're seeing. They've done it on many levels, but here recently you had the movie called The Woman King. That's something along the lines and within the script of agenda, brothers and sisters. The Woman King. We hadn't heard that Elizabeth was called the woman king of England. They always addressed her as Queen Elizabeth because words got power. And then now we're looking at it and analyzing the fact that, okay, this woman king, the people that they using, who are they? This melanated woman, you know what I mean? So it appeals to that same audience, the people who look like her. All right, so it's promotion against us and to destroy us, brothers and sisters. And then we see it all. Cephas put me on this. So then we're looking at the Marvel universe. These different movies are used as tools, brothers and sisters. Now the Wakanda thing with the Black Panther. He's dead, and the new Black Panther is his sister. The feminist movement yet again. Then we got the Hulk being moved out the way for She-Hulk. The feminist movement again. So it's encouragement, you know what I mean? It's another incubation system for promotion of the Jezebel spirit. But Jeremiah 31:22. It says, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Most High have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. All right, so we seeing that this thing, it wasn't so, but the Most High has allowed it because of men not taking it accountability. He said a woman gonna compass a man. So when we seeing this, we know that this thing happened from the Most High. But if he allowed it, he didn't granted us a way to get from it though. He is a just God with balance. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 3. Isaiah is before Jeremiah. Isaiah 3. Isaiah chapter 3. I'm gonna hit 11. I'm gonna start with 11. It says, "Woe unto the wicked! It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him." Verse 12, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths." All right, so the Most High, he's bringing this out because that's not how he intended it. The children are supposed to be oppressing us, and the women are supposed to be ruling over the men. The men supposed to be in the forefront leading this thing in righteousness. All right, but they didn't deterred and made the man deviate as well as the woman, therefore the children and the nation altogether. All right, so this thing is out of whack. But we're addressing it so that we can recognize this spirit. Anybody who's dealing with this spirit to repent from it, all right, and be delivered from that. Let's go with let's go to Sirach. Sirach 25. Sirach 25, because they got us against one another. We supposed to be ruling everything, but here it is. We at war with one another to see who gonna rule the household. That ain't how the Most High wanted that thing to work. Sirach 25, 23. It says, "A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance, and wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees." So we going here for a very important thing, brothers and sisters. Like I said in the beginning, the brothers have not been built up. A lot of these men they haven't had men to train them on how to be men, to teach them on how to move and operate within this world as a man. We've had women teaching the men how to be men, and there's only so much a woman can teach that man. All right. So it's up to the sisters to what I mean, encourage and motivate that man, build that man up, speak to his inner spirit. You know what I'm saying? And that man has to be one who's receptive to that, wanting that. Again, looking towards the Most High, to his head, Christ, the Messiah. But if we talking about we believers, and we want to serve the Most High, we want to do something that's pleasing in the eyes of the Creator. Sisters, when that man is in distress, build that man up. Love on that man. Again, I know a lot of the women need to be taught how to love their husbands because their mothers were not wifely, were not wholesome. They didn't know how to love their husbands. But it is women out, and a lot of these young women, if you don't know or believe, some of these young women can teach these old women how to love their husbands. All right, so it's not really practically or based upon an age thing. It's based on if that woman truly, sincerely is desiring with delight to serve the Most High. All right, but I'm gonna read that again. Verse 23: "A wicked woman abateth the curse." So this woman, she's gonna tear this man down. She's not gonna uplift him. She's not gonna be his pillar of rest. She's going to seek a way for her to be in rulership, find a way to create an issue. All right, and if that man is tired of trying to wrestle and deal with the issues this woman has created, he ain't going to have a lot of energy and time and motivation to do what else he needs to do. All right, maketh an heavy countenance and wounded heart. So this man from that point, he's hurt. He's discouraged. He's demotivated. You know what I mean? He feels challenged in his spirit that he can't rule. He don't feel worthy. A woman that would not comfort her husband in distress, make of weak hands and feeble knees. We need somebody to be able to lean on. We need that woman to that back rub mean a whole lot. Having that food ready mean a lot. Being on time for the things that we want and desire, it means a whole lot. Respect, listen, respect take a woman a long way with a man. All right, but in the case where it's disrespect, you can't expect that man to be everything that you need him to be if you're not doing what you need to do. All right, but let's go. I'm almost done here. Let's go to Ezekiel 13. Ezekiel 13. Matter of fact, hold Ezekiel 13. Let me see. Let me get that first. It just hit me. Some just hit me. Let's see. Hold Ezekiel 13 though, fam. Let's see. Pull the house down. Oh, KJV. Proverbs 14 and 1. Proverbs 14 and 1. Because this what's going on if that woman is turning a man down. This was also a result that comes from it. Proverbs 14 and 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. So if you're going against your protection, you're going against the one who is providing for the household. You know what I mean? And listen, by default, you turn your house down. You putting even your own peace at risk for that man having a mindset to say, well, I'd rather not dwell in the house. I'd rather dwell in the corner of a housetop than inside the house with this woman. It shouldn't be so. But it says the foolish woman plucketh down her house with her hands. All right, and also while we're going now, let's get to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 13. I'm finna close out. Unless y'all got questions, comments, and concerns. All right. Ezekiel 13, though. Ezekiel 13, we're gonna hit 17. Indeed, Anoia, all praise to the Most High. In Ephesians 5 and 33, nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself. All right. And the wife see that she reverence her husband. Yeah. Indeed, indeed. All right. We in Ezekiel 13. Smash the like button. All right. Share this live. The word could be for somebody who needs to hear this. All right, Ezekiel 13, verse 17 says, likewise, thou son of man, set thy face against the daughters of thy people, which prophesy out of their own heart, and prophesy thou against them. All right, so this man been commanded by the Most High. Listen, they prophesying out of their own volition, from their own, you know what I mean, motives and everything else. You said you prophesy against those women, the daughters of your people. Verse 18, and say, thus saith the Lord God, woe to the women that sew pillows to all armholes, and make kerchiefs upon the head of every stature to hunt souls. Will ye hunt the souls of my people? And will ye save the souls alive that came unto you? So what's being said here, it said these women, they sew pillows to the arm. So you making these men comfortable. You making people comfortable in their sin. One thing, as I mentioned about the prophets, which that's in the gender of a male, and a prophetess in the gender of a female. That prophetess, even her, if she's sent by the Most High, and if the Most High Spirit is in her when she speaks and she got a word from the Most High, it's not gonna always be pleasing. You know what I mean? And in many cases, the word ain't even for somebody outside of you, it's for you yourself. All right, but it said these women, they prophesying, sewing pillars, and creating comfort for people. If they remain comfortable in the sin, it'll never be repentance. And if it's never repentance, then it's only destruction is going to remain. All right, verse 19 says, and will ye pollute me among my people for handfuls of barley and for pieces of bread? To slay the souls that should not die, and to save the souls alive that should not live, by your lying to my people that hear your lies. So the book tells us that you wicked if you justify the wicked and condemn the righteous. So this too is also a spirit of the Jezebel, because she did condemn to death Naboth, who was innocent. So a Jezebel spirit will be justifying and upholding people who wrong, making them feel good and they're evil, instead of telling them, listen, you're going to burn in hell, you keep living like that. The Most High don't approve that, to be straightforward and real with them. All right? Continuing on though. It says, wherefore thus saith the Most High Power, behold, I am against your pillows, wherewith ye there hunt the souls to make them fly. And I will tear them from your arms, and will let the souls go, even the souls that ye hunt to make them fly. Your kerchiefs also will I tear, and deliver my people out of your hand. And they shall be no more in your hand to be hunted. And ye shall know that I am the Most High. Because with lies ye have made the heart of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad, and strengthened the hands of the wicked, that he should not return from his wicked way, by promising him life. Therefore ye shall see no more vanity, nor divine divinations. For I will deliver my people out of your hand, and ye shall know that I am the Most High. So the Most High said, you ain't gonna even see no proper divinations. You ain't gonna get no more words from the Most High, period. You're gonna be confused, and therefore it leads to more confusion and remaining slaughter. Yada rock shalom to you as well. You and your house. Shalom, peace and blessings to your house, family. Thank the Most High. Israelite King, great scripture, all praises. All right, saints, this is what I got. Questions, comments, and concerns. Questions, comments, and concerns pertaining to the message. Questions, comments, and concerns. Scroll down. Pray the word was edifying, strengthening, helpful, feeding of the spirit. I pray digest and take root, not just in the sisters, but in the men as well. Oh yeah, I do. I got something else too that I need to. So there's something important as well. Understanding that I don't want this message to be taken in a way where a brother may feel like, see what I told. Be quiet, don't say nothing, woman. That's not what we're saying. Is a lot of wisdom within the women, and I'm not justifying by any means, but I'm speaking on the balance of it. Let's see. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Household. Let's see. Yeah. Sirach 4 and 30. So this is important too. It's a time for that woman to speak. Yeah, I mean, that's why he said the woman is a helpmeet. All right, help that man accomplish his purpose and why the Most High made him. So, brother, it'd be wise to hear it and listen to what your rib's saying. Weigh it up on the scales of the Most High. And if it balances out what he said, then hey, go with it. All right, but Sirach or Ecclesiastes 4 and 30, it says, be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. So it's saying, don't be in your household, just you guys, your wife scared of you, you chill, everybody afraid of. You know what I'm saying? But then when you're amongst the servants and the people work for you around you, you nervous and you shaking. Don't be like that. You know what I'm saying? So be, in other words, be at peace. Keep your humbleness. You know what I'm saying? Guard that. At home, be at peace. Even amongst those people who are outside of your house, be at peace. Looking to continuously the Most High. All right. Okay. So that's the last thing I'll apply. Ayona, peace and blessings. Just weights and balances indeed, Superior. Wonderful lesson. The water I had a free question, not necessarily pertaining to today's message, but I'm not sure if you're receiving my emails. Okay. When I get out the live, Brittany, I will check the email. Okay. Again, the donation from Shaft Berean. I seen the message earlier. You was wondering if I got it. I did get it. Thank you, brother. Right. Anybody else? Any other question, comment, concern? If you can't think of it right now, shoot it to this here. Shoot it to this email. Children of the prophets. Children of the prophet 144 at gmail.com. Children of the prophets 144 at gmail.com. Leslie Spirit, all praise to the Most High. Said it was a good word. Everybody who tuning in over Facebook as well as YouTube, bless y'all. May everybody who bless y'all be blessed and everybody who curse y'all be cursed. I don't see no more questions. I'm going to play this again. I'm going to salute y'all and pray to and bid the Most High on higher speed to you all. And then moving forth, you be blessed.
It's just rebels. Yeah. We ain't asking to be let in. We kicking the door in. All praise to the Most High. Righteous rebels, labor radicals, full of them on them, call them out on they crowd, reveal the cap, they gonna be mad at you. The person you get married to gonna rob you of your peace cause you didn't take the time to see. If y'all was spiritually compatible, you wouldn't be comparing you. If they truly valued you, cognitive dissonance, won't believe that you had to prove, pray, protect, provide, and guide the family. What a dad do. Girl the comfort, help her king comfort. What a mama do. How much you super blessed, I woke up feeling wonderful. Laughing at these devils, man, I promise you they comical. And later news, the Mississippi River drying up. But Group 5 and 7, that applies to us. I'm out the trap trying to save the captives. The people rather stay in shackles. Whole time, me and mine down to play the mouse. Lions eat when the beef's awful. Ain't for the weak or the sweet talkers. Come like a thief on the sleepwalkers. Koran the Hebrew was defrosting. The bread for the children. Lawyer dogs get the leash off them. The parasites try to leech off them. Clone your voice, get your speech out to them. Baritone, go and research it. I come from the bottom. The subway, I had to research it. The youngest fashion crash shop when they don't see purpose. Clear eyes, clean vision, sight detergent. Urge my pimp, I had to detox it. In demand, I had to restock it. Rock with soldiers, same message, had to rebox it. Communication encrypted for all the eavesdropping. Them sneaking links got your fist and blood. Toxic tune promoting addictive drugs. They trying to turn our sons to lady bugs. And our daughters into shameless whores, battle scores. Do the right thing, cause the cost of sin is sting. Freeze man with machine. Daniel told us earning and clay to me that resonates as transhumanism. Talking cyborgs. All facts, nothing fabricated. In perfect health, then take the vaccination. The Most High, he gets all the praises.